Here we are now. We're talking up a storm. Forgive me, John, I didn't mean to interrupt you. This is Mark Wynn, head of his own company, stirring up a sloshy mass that has to do with the Wynn Creative Corporation. If you were to use like one short sentence, Mark, what would you say you do?
Life casting. This is a new art technique that allows people without any previous art training or particular experience to make perfect duplicates.
All right, now that can be complicated or simple. Let me show them just for a moment what complicated is. Forgive me, Bob will just have my head over this. This is Mark. Now here we are. You see, this is when you get a little more sophisticated and really know what you're doing. Is that a fascinating piece of work? But for the moment, out of the kindness of his heart, he's going to use only my arm, and I'm grateful for that. Okay, what do we do next?
Okay, I have started the process by filling this bag full of water. The bag contains a material which I call life form. It's an entirely non-toxic, completely safe material.
Yes,
it's
in fact, physicians are familiar with this.
Exactly. This whole product, which is called Body Parts, is a synthesis rather than an invention.
And it's so clean, I happen to know, that not only could you eat it, but you don't even have to wash your arm after you're done.
That's right.
Okay, so having done this once before, I'll do it again.
Plunge in.
Should I grab anything first, or just go
No,
in,
let's just go straight in and keep your fingers relatively straight for the time being. For
artistically poised.
Right. And it's, as you can feel, it's a pleasant cinnamon-smelling goo. It was designed with three objectives in mind. First of all, it needed to be safe, because I was dealing with my children primarily, who were 2 and 5 at the time. And it needed to be easy to use. Everything you need in the product, except water, comes with it. You could make a life cast in the middle of the woods somewhere if you wanted to.
Now, you know, there are those who say, Mark, you know, who would want to? At first, it sounds almost macabre. And yet then you look over at the left side of your screen here at that precious little foot that has become a vase, and you realize that somebody's mama is going to love that for a long time.
Sure. And of course, if any of these children happen to grow up to be someone famous, you never can tell how valuable they might become.
Yeah. Now, you know, I'm probably not doing this as professionally as I should. As I realized, I kind of had a claw-like look to my hand when I dipped down in there, so it would not be as artistic as the little folded hands down there on the left side.
Well, these are particularly nice because for a change, I got my son and my daughter to hold hands. Probably the last time that will ever happen.
Oh, 2 people's hands. Hold it real steady while the camera gets it here. And how do you get kids to sit still? You don't have to.
Well, as you can see, we're almost finished now. And with some experience, you can get this to where they only have to hold still for about 15 seconds. So depending on your experience and the temperature of water you use and a few other factors, which are fully described in the instructions that come in the kit, you can get them to do pretty much anything. Besides the fact it's fun.
You are now looking at my lower forearm, which is not the most beautiful sight you might have ever seen. This reminds me of when I broke my wrist and was cast. This is much more pleasant, let me just tell you. So now you don't have to work. You just have to let it do that. Then you come back 45 minutes later?
Well, after we take your hand out, which you'll see in just about 15 seconds or so, we're almost set up. Yeah, that releases, and then you can fill that negative. It's just like photography. You fill the negative with anything. The kit itself comes with gypsum cement, which is statuary cement, because you have a variety of statuary materials to finish it with. And you fill it, you mix that with water and fill that with cement. You could, however, fill it with anything, including like melted chocolate. The material is actually edible. Therefore, if you filled it with something edible, it would be entirely safe.
It becomes a multimedia experience.
Correct.
How do you get something like this, this ball inside already formed hands?
Okay, well now this was my son's design. He was 5 years old and he designed this sculpture. This was a paperweight. And when he was in this stage of the process, he was actually holding this while he was in there.
Oh, I see. You just cleaned it up.
That's right.
And look at the little Band-Aid on the side of the arm.
Well, that's the other thing. Because this material copies detail so well, he had a bandage on his arm then.
Oh, it was real.
Yeah, it was a real bandage, and the process actually duplicated the bandage as well.
I'm astonished. Now, should I begin to do the inevitable?
This is almost ready. Almost ready.
Now, then what do you do with that straw?
Okay, this straw is how we release the hand. What you do is you introduce air into the mixture. This isn't quite set yet, almost. You introduce air into the mixture, that breaks the seal, and once the material is fully set, it doesn't stick to your skin or anything else. So if you happen to spill it, you don't even have to worry about that. It will pull right off as soon as it's set.
Now with this piece that you did very artistically with sprinkles in the hair and so on, you paint it as you would an ordinary sculpture?
Right. In most statuary stores, there are very inexpensive and mostly non-toxic paints. that there's an infinite variety.
So if you're doing your head, how did you do this? You lie down on your side or what?
Right. In this particular case, I used, instead of the cylinder that you use typically with the kit, I used a square plastic cooking dish. And I just laid the side of my face in it, breathing out of the corner of my mouth that wasn't in the material.
Certainly, always important.
Right.
All right, well, let's try this
Okay,
now.
this should be ready to come out by now.
Okay.
And all we have to do is blow air in here. You'll feel the release around your skin as we do that.
It's like silly putty.
That's right. And as soon as it's released, you'll just limply slide your hand out.
Certainly. Forgive me for laughing. Okay. Ooh.
And there you go. As you can see, it doesn't stick to your skin in any appreciable fashion, and everything is perfect.
Pretty
and inside
good.
of here, we have a perfect negative.
You shall see,
Right down
as
the
time
fingertips.
progresses, just how perfect this is. Come back to us. Saw Mark Wynn, president and founder of Wynn Creative Corporation. He had shoved my arm unceremoniously into this LifeCast powder, which he had mixed with water, and I didn't suffer a bit. Now, frankly, Mark and I did one right prior to the show so that the time frame, the time lapse, would be appropriate, and he is now removing the stuff, the life form, from a mold of my hand. Well, it does look, I would know my hand anywhere, Mark. I'm going to have to admit that. The amazing thing is that you get every bit of it, everything inside the palm.
Oh, yeah.
Astonishing.
As I mentioned earlier, I've done hundreds and hundreds of these, working out the details of the kit, and it never ceases to amaze me how much actual detail it holds.
You're still delighted by your own work.
Absolutely.
Good. Well, that is me.
And as you can see on this one, you were holding on to this smooth acrylic ball, and it actually rotates in the socket. The fit is so perfect. So I have some of these back at my studio holding on to large ones, which are like chair casters.
Oh,
and they rotate in the socket.
Just astonishing.
Yeah, so you can do all sorts of amazing things.
Most of your work comes, I would gather, from parents who want something like these little mementos, right? Or am I wrong about that?
Frequently. But see, I sell not so much the service of doing these for people as much as the kit to enable people to do it themselves.
Okay, now explain this again. People come to you, and or they don't even have to come to you.
No, they should start appearing in art supply stores in the near future.
Oh, I see. So what we're talking about is body parts. If I move
here
this
you go.
out.
You can take this one.
Body parts is this can that just comes like, again, as I said, silly putty.
Yep. Everything you need is in there except water. You could do one in the middle of the woods.
You still have to have something of an artistic touch, though, don't you?
Not necessarily. Of course, the more inclination you have for that sort of thing, the more elegant they're going to turn out. But even the simpler ones, which I don't...
You have no example of simplicity here.
Yeah, these are pretty simple.
Yeah.
These are just a couple of fists of my son and one of his buddies, who has since moved away, which will become increasingly valuable as he gets older.
I see. And pals is a little piece of woodwork that you did in addition.
That's right.
That little word on the bottom there. Well, it's fascinating. If you want to find out more about this stuff, there's a phone number for you here at 213-542-9410. Mark Wynn, a sculptor who's given me more of the essence of me than I thought I'd ever want. And thank you.
Thank you.
Indeed. Back in a moment.